All right, folks, it is Friday Night Blitz Media Days as we're rocking and rolling. We're checking out the schools in our area, getting ready for the season. And, of course, joining me right now, the focus is on the George Washington Eagles down from Danville or up from Danville making the trip. And, of course, their head coach entering his 11th season with George Washington, Nick Anderson. And, Coach Anderson, welcome to Media Days, Friday Night Blitz style.
Thanks for having us.
Well, I guess we got to bring up some bad news. Obviously, last year was an un-George Washington-like season. You went 3-6, missed the playoffs after 9 straight playoff seasons. Just talk about that season as a whole, 'cause I'm sure it was a tough. I mean, going 3-6 was tough.
Yeah, it's our worst season since we've been there in the last 10 years, and we had a lot of variables that went into factoring out how we ended our season. But we're not made to make excuses, and we want to. Change those results from last year into a positive way this year. So it's humbled us and made us hungry, and the kids are really working hard. Our attendance is way up. The commitment and people being there on time and doing the little things right. I think that's what's going to change us and go back the way everybody knows how GW plays.
You mentioned being humble because obviously the success you had, sometimes people can just take that for granted, but obviously. Did it refocus you guys and your team to say, hey, look, all right, we were 3-6 last year, but we got to get back to playing George Washington football?
Yeah, I think we just got a little relaxed a little bit. Having success over a period of time isn't easy, even though some teams make it look extremely easy. It's a commitment that you have to make to hard work and dedication. But when you have these little hiccups along the way, like I said, it humbles you, and I think what it's done for us has made us look at some of the smaller things and what we're doing and how we may have gotten a little relaxed and looked over a few things like they weren't important. They're important now, and we're getting back to the basics.
So who are some of the players we should keep our eye on this year with your team that fans will look at and know about?
Well, the one kid that the face of our program right now is Kemori Dixon. He's a heck of an athlete, can play multiple positions on either side of the ball. Our starting quarterback's back, Nehemiah. He was a sophomore last year, so he went through his own growing pains. But he's looked really good this offseason. He's grown a little bit, put a little more weight on. We got some newcomers coming up. We've got a couple linemen, Chris Law, who is really turned it on this off season and gotten really strong in the weight room. But he's a young kid, but he loves contact, so he'll be a great player for us also.
Now, speaking of 2023, we were just talking about this before we went on the air. You didn't shy away from the competition. Looking at your schedule, even with the district schedule, 8 of your 10 teams that you play made the playoffs last year. Just talk about that, because obviously you start off the gate with the defending Class 4 champs in Dinwiddie, but overall, that scheduling philosophy, just your thoughts about that.
Well, if you want to compete and be one of the best teams in the state of Virginia, we got to go out there and play them. And I like our guys. I believe in our guys. They work extremely hard, and athletically we can match up with a lot of different teams. But like I said, if you want to play or be one of the best teams, you got to play the best, and that's what we're trying to do.
Overall, if you had to put a theme on looking ahead to this season, what would that be and why?
Basics. Winning everywhere is our theme this year. Winning in the classroom, winning on the field, winning on film study. Anything you do, take pride in it and try to win and compete. So that's our little hashtag is win everywhere.
We mentioned this is your 11th season. I mean, looking back at when you first started at GW and where you are now, I mean, looking at it, does it feel like it seems like it's gone by? It seems like you just started, but you're in your 11th season with the Eagles.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. GW has great tradition and had great tradition way before I got there, and that's one of the things that sold me on being the head coach at GW is they take pride in their program, and it has seemed very short-lived being there. It just went by so fast, and I've met a lot of great people along the way and had a lot of great help.
And I tell you one thing, with the success you had, Coach, I don't see 3-6 coming up this year. Because your program and what you do there is too good for it to be at a 3-6 level.
I appreciate that.
And I can tell you from right now that you're going to rock and roll. But when you look at this overall, when you look at Friday nights in the fall, special time, what does Friday nights in the fall mean to you?
Man, it's the best ever. There's nothing better than Friday night football. That COVID year, I think, taught a lot of us how special it is. It just didn't seem right not playing football on Friday nights. And now that we got it back, there's nothing in the world I'd rather be doing.
Well, Coach, I tell you, it's been a pleasure always. We appreciate you making the drive up because I tell you, it's a haul to go between Roanoke and Danville. But we appreciate it, and good luck this season, sir.
Thanks for having us.
I tell you what. So George Washington's season gets underway on August 25th as they host the defending Class 4 champs and the Dinwiddie Generals as we put a bow on this preview of the George Washington Eagles as we have Friday Night Blitz Media Day rolling on.
I know last year, not the greatest, but what did you learn about yourself? You were a young quarterback. What did you learn from being in that position?
Trying to stay humble. I try to be a better leader now. Last year I was more of they would try to protect me more. But now I'm trying to get out that mode and trying to be more of a leader and be more controlling of the team so we can have a better year than we did last year.
What did you learn about leadership, just, trying to get your offense together, trying to have the guys, keep them motivated and listen to you?
Really mainly trust and learn, everybody got different personalities. Everybody has a different feel of the game. Everybody got a different skill set. So you just got to put players and motivate players to their skill set, and then everything will be good.
On paper, the record says 3-6, but was there something that you were seeing last year where the team was improving? Was there something that you guys were doing right, at least towards the end of the year, that you guys feel like you can build off of that?
More really the little things, really. We all started coming together, everybody started coming to practice more. Everybody started coming to weightlifting sessions more. Everybody started playing together instead of playing for themselves and individually. That's what our problem was in the beginning of the season. We was playing for ourselves, and at the end, when we started winning games, we started playing together.
So as you shift the attention now to this season, what do you like about what this team has to offer? I mean, obviously you come in with a lot of experience. A lot of guys come in with experience. What do you like about what this team can offer this season?
I would say our love for each other. Everybody knows how people say it wasn't a bad season, but to us it felt like a bad season. So we know we owe it to the school. So we got to play better, play as one, and just love each other and trust in our abilities and trust in the coaching staff.
Let's talk about your off season for a little bit. Obviously, it feels like you didn't waste any time just trying to get better. What have you been working on in the off season? How much of it was looking back on tape and film? How much of it was just being in the weight room 24/7? Tell me about your off season.
So mainly we knew after the season that we just had, we knew we had to come together and we had to work. So as soon as the season ended, all of us just got together. We started doing 7-on-7 in weight rooms in December. So ever since then, we've been working out together, eating out together, just a little stuff to get that kind of team bonding. So when it's on the field, it's just natural for us.
What was the 7-on-7 like?
It was great. A lot of sunny days, cold days, rainy days, just all of it. Just us being there and playing the sport we love just created a different bond for the team.
Was it just you guys, or were you able to kind of find some other schools to kind of just try some stuff out? I mean.
Yeah, so it was mainly us, but then we was playing with kids from other schools too. We were just trying to get that love and connection that football brings for everybody.
Again, going back to you as a player, I feel like I may have asked you this last year, but just talking about your love for football, again, where did that come from, and how did that kind of develop for you?
Just as a little kid, just watching football, just watching NFL, college, to high school games, even middle school when I was young. It was just always that one person when there's one person say something, everybody moves. So I just thought quarterback was a great position for me, and just having the bond and meeting new people, and you can have bonds for life for football. That's just why I love football so much.
And was there a quarterback that you were kind of trying to emulate?
Russell Wilson.
That's right, yeah. What was it about his game that you kind of got inspired by?
Pretty much his leadership, but he was always underestimated. He always stayed humble. Because, everybody would doubt him because of his size and stuff, but it doesn't matter about the size, it all matters your heart and what you believe you can do.
Was there maybe a game that you watched of it, a specific game that you kind of I don't know, maybe it was a Super
Not that I thought of, I just thought he was so inspirational. Every game just mattered to me.
Your whole YouTube feed is
Yeah, straight Seahawks.
Yeah, right, for sure. So as you go into camp now, talk about obviously how important those weeks are going to be. You guys have the team bonding done. You're going to do more of that What are you guys going to be focusing on during those couple weeks?
Probably learning the plays and get everybody used to, especially like the new kids coming in, to know that after last year, the way the season went, we know we have to be more focused. Instead of giving 100%, we got to give 150, and just playing to the best of our ability. You know, everybody got to come together because we know we need to get some wins this year.
You obviously know how last season ended. What are you going to be thinking about when you take the field for that first time? It's almost like, starting fresh, turning a new page.
For most of us, it's almost like revenge because, we had that bad season last year. So we got to just focus on one game at a time, get through it week by week, and then just see where that takes us.
Definitely taking it one game at a time, but when you look at the goals that you guys are trying to accomplish this year, if you can get back to the playoffs, what would that mean to you?
Yeah. So we knew we got to get back to the playoffs because, GW has usually a winning tradition, So we always go to the playoffs every year, have like 8 wins or more. So we know we owe it to the school, but we mostly owe it to ourselves because we know we could have done better as a team. So yeah, we need to go back to the playoffs.
So let's start there. I mean, you're going to your final year, no big deal. You've just given the sport everything you've got the last couple of years. How do you feel going into your senior year?
I mean, it's like I never really believed them when they said time would fly this fast. Just like yesterday or something like that, it was just starting all over in rec league. So like going into my senior year is like a big deal, Never really had a losing season all my life, but except for last year, fortunately things happened and got to deal with it. So this going into my senior year, whole lot to prove. Not really trying to prove to anybody else, just to prove to ourselves that we're better than we was last year.
I feel like there was a lot of learning lessons though from last year. What did you guys learn about yourselves?
I mean, we learned a whole lot that if we don't stick together and come together as a team, then a whole lot of things wouldn't go our way, or just not being there for each other. So just basically we learned we're better as a team than we are separate.
Yeah, I mean, things happen. So how motivated though are you guys from how last year unfolded going into this year?
I mean, that motivated us a whole lot after the end of the season, and then this group coming up, 11th and 12th grade varsity group, we've been together since 7th and 8th grade, so it's like not a new connection. It's like a whole lot of stuff coming back together this year. So I feel like we're better as a team, more chemistry is there, so everybody knows each other's play style a little better, and we learn each other. Then for the new guys that's coming up, we're just breeding them in and bringing them in as a team too, just making them an equal also.
Not to put you on the spot, but this guy behind me had to learn a lot last year as a sophomore. Not easy as a young guy to step up, but what do you think? How do you think he grew as a quarterback and as a leader in that position last year?
I mean, when he first started, he was not the best. He was one of the worst players I ever played with in my life, But hey, just to see him progress is it's crazy, man. If you look at him from where he started to where he's at now, it's been tremendous. I mean, he went from not being able to throw a football straight to just downing things on the spot. And I mean, I'm just grateful to have somebody like that in my corner. And he didn't get down about himself being so bad. He actually used it as motivation to, bring it to us now and just being a leader and helping to teach the younger kids.
When you have a guy like that coming in with the experience he has now going to his junior year, I mean, there's something to say about continuity, right, and experience.
Definitely.
How do you feel like that's going to help you guys going into this season?
I mean, from a guy like him coming in with us, I could say it's bringing motivation to everybody, because when you see that you can start off not so bad and improve like that can probably potentially motivate somebody else. So just having him around, being able to push guys and constantly be on them, because he know where he came from and he know he can go back to where he came from if he don't continue to put in the work. So it's good.
Defensively, where do you think this team is at going into the season? Obviously, you still have camp, obviously, to work on a lot of stuff, but how do you feel about the defense going into?
I think we're going to have a heck of defensive group this year, especially up there on that front line, man. To be honest, I think our secondary could just be smooth just because we have a great up front, and they're young guys at that, young guys that are dogs and who have that leadership mentality of upcoming 10th graders, and a couple of 9th graders coming in. But we're going to have a pretty decent secondary and just overall, so I'm pretty excited about this group.
A lot of that strength comes from the off season. Tell me about your off season. What were you working on? Tell me about the 7-on-7s and the work in the weight room.
Okay, so our team is we're motivated by each other. So everybody sees me I'm a kid who's blew up over the last couple months or whatever with offers, rankings, this and that. So when they see that for me and all these schools come in, that motivates them. So when we in our spring practice and coaches are coming to see me, I tell them, like, don't get down thinking they just here to see me, because you never know what you can do different than I did that can get the attention on you. So, I mean, just stuff like that, little things, people want to go further and make it big to the next level. We putting in that grind and motivating each other. So, like, nothing is, we're not slacking at all. I mean, we have no reason to slack because everything is personal at this point, especially coming off of a season like last year.
Let's talk about you for a little bit. Again, your love for football, where did that come from? How has that grown over the years?
I mean, I first started playing football like third grade, city league. Just ever since then, I went that route, just loved it. And then I think about COVID, I've always been a multi-sport athlete. So COVID, outdoor and all that was kind of shut down. So I took in more in the basketball land. Coming in freshman year, my coach, Coach Cody, he always tell me, come on out, 7-on-7. I tell him I'm coming and never come. And then like that one day I finally came, and it's like all that love just came back. And I got an older brother who plays ball, and that fell down on me too. So it's like, hey. So I just took that motivation and loved the game for myself.
Since you're like your freshman year, obviously you've gotten a lot serious about football. Now you're even starting to look at potential offers, playing ball in college. What's that been like to get that kind of attention, especially from D1, and then to have to kind of make a decision pretty soon?
Yeah, I mean, so most people, like, most kids, like, grieve for the D1 offers, that and that, but like, it's kind of overwhelming in a point, because like, you're getting all this attention, especially for a kid who's not used to it. Like me, I'm a center of attention all the time, but like when you're the center of attention, like you have a bigger spotlight. Like I have 20 offers, so it's like D1 at that. So it's like everywhere you go, you're known, so you can't do anything wrong, and you gotta always know somebody's constantly watching you. And then you're actually a role model now. You have younger kids who look up to you, so you gotta make sure you set an example for those kids and lead the right way and not the bad way.
How do you stay grounded? Not try to, get your ego too big?
I mean, I just stay grounded because I always remember the same way I got it, the same way it could disappear. And I remember where I come from, and then I know where I can be, and I know where I want to be, and just looking at the future and like wanting a better situation for myself. I wasn't always the best kid, but when I seen bigger pictures, then my mindset changed. I got older, matured into it.
To play college ball, what does that mean to you?
I mean, hey, that's a lot. I mean, generational curses. So I have one uncle who played at Marshall. He might have been, like, the last time he played, he won a national championship back in '97, '98. So I'll be the next one up in my family to just not even play college ball, to play Power 5 D1 football, just doing that. So it means a lot, man. Not too many kids out the area. I mean, it's great legends out of Danville, but we recently had one drafted, Curtis Brooks, but ever since then, it's been kind of a little laid low, but now I feel like I'm going to be the next one up the blow.
Definitely a blessing and a curse sometimes. When you have the success you're having and you're trying to, funnel that down to your teammates, what advice do you give some of your, especially your younger teammates who might want to go the same path?
I mean, just stay down and stay humble. I mean, don't rush the process. Let the process come to you, because if you rush it and we finally get it, you don't know what to do with it. You might hear, oh yeah, we have an offer, you got an offer. I mean, just because you got an offer, that don't mean you got a scholarship. You feel me? That could just be something they just throwing out on the table because, just because. But I mean, just grind. I mean, if you're good, they're going to find you. So yeah.
Good advice, good advice. The grind, let's talk about a little bit about that. Those 7 a.m., 8 a.m., like early wake-up calls. I mean, what's that like to walk out onto the field?
I mean,
in August, it's not that hot yet, but it's about to be. I mean, you know what you're getting yourself into. What's that like?
I mean, nobody likes to work. I mean, hey, I might not like to do it, but I got to do it. But I take pride in doing it, even if I don't. Like, I got to do this. Eventually, when I get to college, it's going to be 2 times worse. So, I mean, just getting up, I mean, it ain't doing nothing but molding you for the future if you want to take this football stuff a long ways. So you molded into that, just getting used to it. Like, later on, maybe a month or 2 later, your body will get used to it. So it's just like a natural thing. You constantly waking up. You don't need no alarm. Eating right, working out. Football, your body ain't as a sword no more because you're adapting to it, training new muscles, and just getting bigger, stronger, and faster.
Yeah. To turn things around for you guys, to go back to the playoffs, what would that mean to you, especially this is your senior year? You're trying to leave it all out on the line.
Hey, man, I'm trying to get a state. So we're shooting for a state every year. Got a couple teams. We always make it to the playoffs, 3rd round, don't really get no further than that. But I feel like this year, especially last year, not even making it to the playoffs. And then previous years before getting put out 2nd, 3rd round, I mean, this year I feel like it's a different group. I mean, every year, every guys, when they get their senior year, they feel like this. But nah, this year I think it's actually going to be something different.
Looking forward to it, man.